Hello. The Mercedes E-Class has been a mainstay for decades. It's always been something to aspire to. And now, there's a new one. And the question we all have is, will it be known as one of the greats?
This new version promises a lot. It's more spacious, is full of smart tech, green materials, and has a range of clean engines. There's a lot to fit into its rather imposing body.
Let's talk about design, shall we? It looks very different to the previous version, and that is predominantly down to this much larger, taller grille with this silver frame. And in fact, you can get the grille in two different versions depending on what trim level you go for.
The AMG line has a Mercedes star in the middle, surrounded by hundreds of smaller ones, while the exclusive trim is a bit more businesslike and resembles the S-Class, with horizontal bars and a Mercedes star sticking out of the bonnet. Both versions come with an optional LED light strip that illuminates in the dark. Very bling.
Then you've got these new LED headlights, rather nice looking. 1.3 million pixels that have the ability to do a cool light show on the floor. I think they look really nice. They make the car look a lot more distinctive and a bit meaner, in my opinion. Nice shape to them, and then the black surround, which sort of oozes into the black surround of the grille. All looks rather nice. And then around the side, you have the pop-out door handles like you have on the EQ cars. New wheel designs up to 21 inch in size. And then around the back, you have these lovely new rear lights, which have the 3-point Mercedes star design, which I think are a really nice touch. However, I am not a fan of the plastic on the rear bumper, nor am I a fan of the fake exhaust tips. They're not even connected to the real thing. What's that all about? Let's talk tech. The Mercedes E-Class can be spec'd with a 14-inch tablet-style display, but that's poverty spec. For a little bit of extra money, you can pay for what Mercedes calls the super screen, which is a slightly smaller version of the hyperscreen that you see in the EQS. So the super screen spans the width of the car, has the digital driver display, it has a large central display, and then an optional passenger display on which you can surf the web, you can scroll on TikTok, you can play Angry Birds, but that will only work if there is a passenger sitting in the passenger seat and as long as the driver isn't watching. The cameras will detect if the driver looks at the screen, and if it detects it, it will simply turn off. Speaking of cameras, there is now one on the dashboard for selfies or selfie videos. I don't know why that's become a thing, but the BMW 5 Series did it, so maybe Mercedes didn't want to miss out. What's even cooler though, is that you can actually do a Zoom meeting from the comfort of your car. Let's see what Rory's up to. Hello?
Hello, where are you?
You're upside down. You need to swivel onto the side.
Am I the right way up now?
Yeah, you are now.
Are you reviewing a car?
Yeah. The new E-Class.
Nice. I'm in the Shard in London. Check out my view.
Of course you are. Well, I'm in Vienna.
Of course you are. Do you have champagne?
No! Oh, but I do have a very nice car, so...
But wait, it's actually got, what, Zoom built into it?
Yeah, in the center console. So you're quite large on my screen.
That's incredible.
It's very cool.
Am I in 4K or just like regular?
Yeah,
in 4K?
You're not quite 4K, I'm afraid, but you know.
You're probably about to deliver your verdict at some point, but what's it like?
It's very nice. It's like floating on luxurious air. Yes, not bad.
Amazing. All right. Well, I look forward to watching the rest of your review. I'm afraid I'm a little bit preoccupied with my glass of champagne.
Oh, go away. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Sorry, it's cutting out. It's cutting out.
It works brilliantly. I'll give it that. The E-Class, the Zoom function, fantastic.
Thanks, Rory. Have fun.
All right. Enjoy your day at work. Bye.
Bye. One final thing. To open and start the car, you don't even need a key. You need this. As long as you have your phone on you, your car will start.
The steering wheel looks fantastic, although it has capacitive buttons that can be easy to press accidentally, and the optional 21-speaker Burmester audio system with Dolby Atmos is phenomenal. As for storage, inside there's a central cubby with cup holders, USBs and wireless phone charging, and behind that yet more USBs and yet more storage. The boot, meanwhile, is the same size as the previous E-Class models with 540 litres of storage.
Of course, most of you business types will be spending more time in the back, and I am pleased to report that it is rather lovely back here. You've got the pull-out armrest, which has a pop-out to reveal a phone and tablet holder and 2 cup holders. You've got a rear sunroof specifically for the passengers. Then the wheelbase has been extended by 2 centimetres, so you have 17mm extra leg space, you've got 25mm more elbow room and 5mm more headspace. So it does feel rather spacious back here, and in fact it's more like an S-Class.
There are a variety of engines to choose from, as ever. These include everything from the entry-level E200 2-litre 4-cylinder with around 200 horsepower up to an E450 with a 3-litre 6-cylinder engine, making 380 horsepower. There are also several plug-in hybrids, including the E300e tested here, which can run on petrol, electricity, or both.
Is it comfy? Yeah, just a tad. So the new E-Class comes with either basic springs or Airmatic air suspension. This one's running on the Airmatic air suspension, so it is so smooth. I mean, I actually feel like I'm floating right now. As for steering, that is very good. It's very responsive, as you'd expect from a new E-Class. It has optional rear wheel steering, which basically means that the rear wheels turn in the opposite direction to the front, which means that you can turn in much smaller circles. In fact, the turning circle without it is 12 metres, but with it, it's just under 11.
The steering also helps when you're driving faster too. At that point, the rear wheels turn in the same direction as the front for better stability. But the steering has another trick. It will actually tell you, and sometimes force you, to stay in what it thinks is the correct lane. When you're driving on the motorway with cruise control on, it will monitor your speed and who's around you and decide which lane you should be in. If it thinks you're in the wrong lane, it will move automatically and even indicate and overtake people in the process. If the sat-nav is active, it will also leave the motorway at the correct exit. It isn't perfect and it is a little bit intrusive, but the technology is impressive.
It's very quiet. So this is a plug-in hybrid and we're running on electric only. But yeah, it's so quiet you can barely even hear the road. Might even be the quietest E-Class ever.
As for performance, the fastest version, currently the E450, will do 0 to 62 in 4.5 seconds and 155 miles an hour flat out. The E300e that I'm driving is fairly nippy, covering the same sprint in 6.4 seconds. Both will run on electric power alone for up to 97 kilometres, thanks to a 25 kilowatt-hour battery, bigger than the one you got on the original Nissan Leaf.
Super comfy, has very good lumbar support, also gives you a bit of a hug in the bends, which is always nice. It's also got a heap of massage functions. I currently have on the activating massage, which is always a win. It all feels so luxurious. I mean, so much so that I'd kind of like to be sitting in the back relaxing.
As for fuel economy, it's impressive there too. The hybrid gets a claimed 353 miles per gallon, best case, although you'll need the battery topped up to the maximum to achieve that. Once it's run flat, it'll be a different story. It's also worth saying the refinement levels change once the battery goes flat, and the car becomes noticeably more noisy from relying on the engine.
A new E-Class doesn't come along all that often. Each builds on what's been done before, adding something new. Admittedly, a selfie cam for Zoom calls in car parks is a little bit niche, but hadn't been done before. There's a new BMW 5 Series, and the new Audi A6 coming, so competition will be very fierce. Have Mercedes done enough?
It has a lot of new tech. Some of it is hugely impressive, and some of it could be somewhat intrusive, depending on your point of view. It isn't the most exciting car in the world either, but that's not what it's designed for. If you're looking for a plush, luxurious way to travel and you're a fan of gadgets for the sake of gadgets, the new E-Class will be right up your street.